This is the Heathkit AA-32 stereo hi-fi amplifier. It's about 10 watts, 10 to 12 watts I think. A tube amp. There are the tubes back in there. It's got a really nice sound to it, being a tube amp. And of course you change the tubes to get a different sound. This one really hasn't been touched, but it probably needs a recap. But it still sounds great. What I like about this tube amp is that on the volume control here, you have your left and right separated. So a lot of times when you're listening to music, you may find that one speaker is a bit more articulated or louder or softer than the other speaker. And there's a lot of factors that go into play with that, and they're not all reliant on the amplification, the machine. It could be the room, it could be your ear, it could be the speaker placement. So really it's nice to have the option to make that adjustment, especially on something that was made back in 1964. I don't have it plugged in at the moment, so we're just looking at it sitting here, but it works nicely. The options you have on it are, you have your auxiliary, which more than likely you're going to hook up your CD player, your tuner, and both moving magnetic and ceramic cartridges for your phonograph. This machine, the output on the phonograph is weak. Let's just put it that way. It's not as loud as the excuse me, as the other ones, which is sort of normal, and sometimes it doesn't have to do with the amp. It could do with your turntable, your cartridge on your turntable, or other factors. But this one definitely, it is weaker, so it probably needs to be adjusted. I did some research on this, and it's quite common for the phono stage to be weak on this amp, so that's probably going to have to be rebuilt. You do have an option here to have your stereo or mono output, which I'm a fan of. Your on and off switches here, and your bass and your treble. Now these came as kits, so people assembled them together. I don't know what the kits look like when they arrived on people's doorstep, or they picked them up at the shop, but people were responsible when purchases to assemble them to get them to work. Now I've noticed on this particular unit that using the bass and the treble knobs does in fact increase the volume. So I suspect that something needs to be fixed here with that. Here's the lid. I've just taken the lid off so we can have a look at inside at the tubes. The tubes, the markings are all nice and cleanly marked on the chassis there. And around here at the back, you have your different look at those pedometers. These are great. These are wonderful. I love them. Nice and thick. Get in there, you clean them properly. So you have your speaker outputs here, and what happens is that you have a ground for your ground wire, and then you have your 4, 8, or 16 ohms, depending on what your speakers are. These cool little units are attached to it, so you can use banana plugs on your old-fashioned straight screws. And over here you have your left and right inputs for the different units that you want to hook up to this beautiful little machine. So that's it. I like this tube amp. I think it's a nice one. If someone's thinking of getting into tubes, this would be a good one to start with. Thanks for watching.